Hey, how's it going, everyone? So last week I did not cover what I did for my home studio back here. I just had other things that I wanted to cover in my vlog. So this week we're covering 2 weeks of effort in changing stuff, and there's plenty of stuff to talk about, plenty of stuff I did. It's really coming along. It's really looking cool. Almost at the finish line, but it's still probably a month away before I get everything I want, but it's definitely usable at this point. So let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about is the scaffolding system. It's finally in place. Almost everything is there hanging, and it looks really great. So as you can see, I now have all of these grip arm extensions extending from the back all the way up to the front, and now I'm really able to hang a lot of different things. Like right here, as you can tell, I'm hanging my shotgun mic right there. And then right over here, this is actually going to be where I'm going to dangle my camera so that I can actually talk about things on my table. This arm right here, what it's going to hold is going to be my subject light. So this is either going to light me or it's going to light whatever product I have on the table. I'm probably going to extend this arm out this way a little bit and also that way a little bit. That way I can put a light over here somewhere, and then I can put a light over there somewhere. And this will be able to basically light me and also anything that I want to review on the table in like a triangle pattern, because I have one light here, and then I'll have my backlight. This backlight, I need to make a video about this, but this is a soft light right here that's been I've been using to light my hair and also my shoulders. It really helps separates me from the background. It's a great little light. I bought it used. Definitely need to make a video about buying stuff used, because the vast majority of stuff in here is actually used, but it's really coming along. It's looking great. The two room lights, now that I've actually had these two set up, they're separated further apart, so they're flooding more of the room with good light. So the room is definitely very well visible. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like on the green screen, because one of the things that I did as well, let me back up here, is I actually added more lights to my green screen. Previously, you saw me using only 2 LED lights on my green screen, and it was passable. It was actually pretty good, but the thing was is that I actually had to do quite a bit of work in post in order to make it look good, and I just didn't want to have that complication. So what I did was I added 2 more LED panels, and I basically have much more coverage. So I'm going to show you that right now. So here is a snapshot of Premiere Pro and some of the testing that I did with the green screen. So right over here where my mouse is hovering, this is the Ultra Keyer. So this is the green screen that you can pull out, and as you can see over here, I have the green screen working, and I have me in front of the camera doing a quick test. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it over to the alpha channel. So this actually tells me how good my green screen is actually doing. Any part that is pure black is really good, because the Premiere Pro is basically saying, I know that's the green screen and I'm good. Anywhere where there's white, it's saying that I'm kind of fuzzy. I think this is a part of the green screen, and you're going to have to help me out and adjust it in post, like dragging this right here to remove some of the green screen. So the issue is that as I drag this up, other bad things start happening. So what I want to do is I want to minimize what I have to do in post, and plus, generally speaking, I just want to do less work in post, because you just spend so much time doing that. So that was the problem I was having with 2 LED screens. Moving up to basically 4 LED screens, it got a little bit better. And then I tried to change something and it got really bad, and I was like, okay, that was dumb. So just because you add extra lighting doesn't mean it automatically will get better. If you position your lighting improperly, it can still be terrible, and this is an example of that. This is actually with 4 LED lights. I just adjusted them thinking that this will work better, and it was a complete failure. So back to the drawing board. A few hours later, I went ahead and did this. Let me get that computer out of the way. and this is much better. So we're getting nice dark areas over here. This area right here is actually coming back as light area because there's so much light here. The green is actually changing into a different type of green, but overall it was pretty good. And then finally, this is kind of where I left it off last. A little bit of white here, a little bit of white here. Believe it or not, the white is actually here is being caused by my hair light that I showed you. It's actually blocking some of the room light, so it's actually making the color less. Down here is actually the same thing. The table and some of the stuff that I have on the table, it's blocking light, and it's causing the green color not to directly show up. And then this over here is just a lack of light, but this is actually significantly easier to get rid of. Oh, let me adjusting the wrong one. So if I just pull this, I can get rid of this super quickly. So it gets nice and dark, and I can actually get a really clear green screen. There is definitely a lot to cover this week, so much to cover, and I want to keep the video short. So as you can see up here, also during my time lapse, I started putting up the sound absorbers. They actually look pretty nice. I like the coloring of them. One thing I will say though is that I bought these on Amazon and they're cheap, and you can tell they're cheap because I bought it all from the same company, but as you can tell, they don't line up correctly because the cubes aren't uniform. Okay, so I did the best that I could, but what happened was that over time, some of the cubes were actually smaller than what they say they were, and they started misaligning, and by the time I got to the end, I had this little nick right here. So for you OCD people, it would probably annoy the crap out of you. Me, I don't really care. I don't spend too much time staring at walls, but definitely be wary of that. If you're going to buy these and if you want them to be perfectly straight, you're going to have to overbuy them, figure out which ones are undersized or which ones oversized, get rid of those, and then use all uniform ones. Other than that though, if you just buy them and you use whatever you have, you're going to come into this problem. It was something that I couldn't solve. I have an extra 2 coming to finish up this bottom wall, and then I will have 3 rows, and then I'll cut up 3 to finish off this wall right here to make it somewhat flush and look pretty good, I think. So definitely looking good. Whether or not it really helps, I have no clue, but we'll find out. Okay, so last thing I want to talk about before we end this little vlog, and that is where I buy my stuff. The vast majority of it has been from Amazon. If it's something that's photo video related, it's probably from either Adorama or B&H Photo. But for the most part, most of this is from Amazon, and it's, really affordable gear that I buy from there. And one of the things that I want to talk about is that most of the time, the gear you get there is really good. You buy the stuff with the really good reviews, and then when you buy it, it usually turns out pretty well. One of the things that I've noticed is that the C-stands and also the grip heads that I bought, I bought them progressively over time, and I've noticed a quality change. So a lot of the stuff that I've been buying are the newer stuff because it's really affordable and it's also really good quality. Amazingly good value actually, but I've noticed that some of their stuff has started dropping down in quality. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. These two right here were bought about 3 to 4 weeks apart. This one is one of the later ones, so it was about 4 to 6 weeks ago. This one was just about a week ago. And as you can tell, this one is significantly larger than this one over here. So the diameter on this one is much larger than this one right here. And you can also tell, if I can get some light in there, you see how smooth it is, so that the pole that slides in there will have a significant amount of area to grip. If you look at this one over here, which is smaller, if you look at this, if you look at the inside of it, it isn't even round at all, and you can tell that they spent significantly less time milling it or even molding it. So it's smaller. The hole pattern is also smaller for some reason, and it's just significantly less quality. It looks like the handles are all the same, but you can tell that they spent less time doing it because there's more divots and there's just more imperfections on the handles than it is on one of the more older versions. We see this all the time in the FPV industry, right? Where the first few batches were super high quality, and then people jump on to buy, the second and third batch, and they're just not as good quality. This is kind of what's happening with some of the newer products, or at least with the C stands and the grip pole. So you always have to watch out for those. Like, you can't ever trust a review that's a couple of months old sometimes, because they could be of a product that was built significantly better at the time that somebody reviewed it. They're both very usable, but I mean, if you were given a choice, you would always select the older version. They're just better quality, they run a little bit smoother, and they were, the same price. This was amazing value. This is now good value, very good value, somewhere between very good and good. It's still worth the price that you pay for, because you still get a lot for your money. It's just, it doesn't live up to what you expect if you have a lot of these and then all of a sudden you started getting a lot of these.